Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
Hello, I'm Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
Today, we're discussing Deep Space Nine, Season 7, Episode 5, Chrysalis. The mutant quartet return to Deep Space Nine so Bashir can help Serena live a normal life.
By overstepping his bounds once again as a doctor and invading the lives of his patients.
Not for the first time, not even in this very specific way.
But for the first time, someone says something, which was nice.
Yes, O'Brien.
Julian, she's your patient.
It's like the writers kind of caught on that is a massive abuse of trust and generally frowned upon quite severely in modern society. And they thought, we should probably put in something about that. And then Bashir just has the flippant response, she's not a patient anymore. Because that makes it okay.
Yeah, I fixed it. Don't worry. I found this loophole.
So they put a token amount of effort into figuring out what the moral boundaries of medicine and responsibility are, but not more than a token effort. Which is fine, because Bashir is the character that does this sort of thing now, so it makes sense for Bashir to be the creep in this situation.
He even mentions Ryza.
Yeah, the sex planet. Creepiness aside, what were your general feelings about this episode?
I was surprised. I did not expect the return of the modified crew. I thought they were a one and done kind of thing. I thought this was fine. I do like what they did with the ending a lot. I guess I'll go into that now. I like that there wasn't a happy ending. I thought they were going with the treatment just failed for no reason. And then that was it. I thought so they could reset it and then they get shipped off and it's back to the way it was. But it was her deciding not to talk because Bashir's a massive creep and it was too much for her. I like that it was her choice for this to happen and it wasn't out of everyone's hands.
It helped the episode not be too predictable because, this episode is very similar to the season 2, I think, episode Melora with the low gravity lady in the wheelchair.
Right, I kept thinking about that too.
This one is way better. They don't even compare.
Yeah.
Although this one doesn't have Handleface, so we'll never forget you, Handleface. So it's a plot they've kind of already done, and this kind of plot is slightly predictable. Most episodes, things get worse and then they get better. So this is one of the flip-flop ones where things get better, something good happens, and then you have the big drop at the end. It's a downer episode. In the end, when it went back to the status quo, that was a bit sad. So they kind of played on your expectations of that happening by having her fake this sort of comatose state again, and then reveal that it's actually because Bashir is terrible and she wants a great deal of distance between him and herself, which is also a downer in a sense.
It's not the downer you expect, though.
It's actually kind of a positive thing. I guess we're sort of friends with Bashir, so it seems like a downer, but in reality, well, it's not real, but in the world of the show, that her distancing herself from Bashir is a good thing. That's positive.
She should withdraw from him, and it's good that she did. And then it's a lesson he needed to learn. So it's overall positive. How do you feel about this one?
I like it a lot. I think it's a good episode overall. The first half I feel is a lot stronger than the latter half. I think it demonstrates how far the show has come since season two's Melora.
Yes, it's interesting when they sort of redo these plots that they've done and how much better they are now.
When Melora was getting her gravity legs and the treatment was working, it was kind of okay, yeah, that's the plot, whatever. But in here, when Serena starts to process things, and a credit to the actress for her speech impediment that she was acting. I was,
Yeah,
for a moment, convinced she was a deaf actress or something like that.
I
That was
was
so
too.
real.
So I work with hard of hearing people, and so I hear that sort of idiosyncratic speech pattern that a lot of them exhibit. And watching this episode, I thought, oh, she's clearly a hard of hearing person. But no, she was acting, and it didn't come off as disrespectful or anything like that.
She nailed that. That I was convinced she uh, actually spoke like that. And then it has the singing scene, the 2 minute little a cappella sing song.
I love that scene.
Oh, it's fantastic. And it's all of this stuff is really uplifting compared to season two, certainly. When Serena is getting better, if you want to call it better, it really gets you in the feels, in the emotions.
When she was speaking like that, I thought, wait, did they have the foresight to hire her for that episode way back when? And think, well, we're going to have her speak later in a different episode, so we need to hire an actress that that talks like this.
She originally spoke in the first episode with them, which was season six's statistical something or others,
Oh, my mistake.
improbabilities or something. But that was edited out. So in the broadcast version, she doesn't speak at all.
Oh, okay, so not my mistake.
No, you were not wrong. And then for this episode, they had to re audition for that character
Oh,
because,
oh, right, because she has to talk
yeah, it's a
and act.
completely different role in a sense.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't even think about that.
But the they gave it to the same person. She was good. They just needed to check that she was a good actor because I'm pretty sure most people can sit and stare at a wall convincingly. I'm not saying that she did a bad or a good job of it. It's not the most challenging role.
Right.
Whereas in contrast, this one is challenging, I would say.
The transformation her face takes is so drastic. Her face lights up. It's great to see. It's lovely. It made me think of those videos that you see where a deaf person hears for the first time and how excited they are and how emotionally overwhelming that is. When she comments on the sounds of the tricorder, it was it was good because there are so many things that we hear and see and take for granted, and you don't think about how special or unique they might be.
How ephemeral life is, etc. Blah blah blah.
Yep.
I don't want to belittle that because it's nice. Although Bashir says he'd never noticed the tricorder sound,
He's secretly deaf.
or what he said. Oh, I've never noticed. What does he mean? I never noticed they make a sound. In which case, what is the sound for? Or does he just mean I didn't notice it was a nice sound? I guess that's what he meant.
I want to think that he noticed it, never made a sound at all. So he's sitting there using it, This thing should have some sort of feedback so you know it's operating like a sound.
I imagine him walking around Medbay late at night going, where's that sound coming from? In a way, this episode's a bad day for O'Brien.
Because he can't break the laws of physics?
Oh, yeah, it's a nice little throwback to the classic lines. I really meant just because his friend is being a sex pest and he's pleading with him to stop. He can't get him to stop. There's a couple of odd things about this episode. First up, the entire premise seems a bit weird.
I didn't understand.
So the mutants escape and come to Deep Space Nine so that Bashir can help fix Serena. But of all of them, he seems the least smart. Well, I'm not kidding. He's very clever,
Yeah.
but the others, certainly the three that speak, seem like a level above Bashir.
They are presented that way, as if they are beyond his understanding.
They invented a medical machine to zip zap her that he couldn't even do. So it seems odd that they need to even come to him at all. And then the next odd thing is that Cisco just puts him in the cargo bay. I
Well,
found that
that's
odd.
Cisco.
I guess.
That was the least odd thing.
It was really weird to me. They're guests. They're not patients or prisoners or something. I don't know why he just stuck them back in the cargo bay, other than that they were there last time.
For nostalgia.
It seems kind of wrong.
And they had to break out of there.
Which was trivial for them. So
they
why-
were being treated as prisoners.
Well, they are basically institutionalized, aren't they?
Yeah, so they are dangerous in a way.
Well, I think they're detained for their own safety and the safety of those around them. But they
Fair
can
enough.
still put them in the quarters. I mean, what's the point anyway? They can break out of anything. Unless they're in the hole, like in the jail place, I think it doesn't matter if it's a cargo bay or a quarters, they're probably able to escape if they want to.
Esri was used well here. Even though it was brief, I like how she asked Bashir, "Hey, do you want some help punishing yourself?" And then listed a bunch of reasons to make him feel worse. It's so unhelpful and really funny.
It's good to see Dax suddenly become this mess. She's kind of a fool in a way.
She is, and it's an interesting new take on Dax. Esri is young. She has the burden of all this wisdom, but she doesn't know how to handle it. And having all that knowledge doesn't automatically make you a sage. She's still prone to the mistakes of youth, and yet she still has her moments of wisdom. I think I can't recall anything, but I'm sure she said some smart stuff. But I love this side of her, and it's different, and I hope they do more stuff like this.
I think this take on Dax is, to me, okay. So to qualify this, I will say I probably preferred Jedzia overall. She's kind of awesome. I just, as a character, she was always sort of floating around in the wind, though.
Yes.
I think this character has more direction. And I think it's the direction they really wanted Dex to have originally, because there was all this stuff about Curzon being great, and then now Curzon is Jadzia, who's just young, but Jadzia was always so confident.
Yeah.
She didn't really seem young and vulnerable. Plus,
no.
We didn't really know anything about Curzon, so a lot of that stuff about Curzon being great kind of fell flat. However, they've done the same jump again. Now Ezri's in Jadzia's shadow, and Jadzia was great, and we know that. So it's starting to actually work. The same kind of shtick is beginning to work on Ezri. She is young and vulnerable and kind of stupid in ways and confused. I'm not saying she's stupid, but her situation is making her do things that aren't beneficial to her herself.
I never saw. Well, maybe she did, but I can't remember Jadzia struggling with the identity of being a Trill with a symbiont.
There were a couple episodes where she had emotions about it, but day to day, no, she owned it.
Yeah.
Which I think is why a lot of the Curzon stuff fell flat. Oh, Curzon was so great. Well, yeah, so?
So are you.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan may be great, but there's still people who get in the ring with him.
It's probably that distinction that helps me embrace Ezri a whole lot because she's struggled since the beginning, since we've met her with this idea, and because she was thrust into this without being prepared. And as you said, we saw Jadzia and how great she is, and so she has that to follow and to try to live up to that standard, I guess.
Well, they have Ezri as a fresh attempt to get Dax to fit in as a character. They're hitting the ground running with it, so that's good. I think her lines are sometimes quite clunky, but at the same time, that doesn't matter too much because she's supposed to be kind of awkward.
Yeah, it kind of plays into the character a bit, or at least the character traits smooth it out.
They get away with it. Here's a question for you.
Here's an answer after the question.
Did Serena blink in the previous episode she appeared?
I'm gonna guess no because that's a strange question.
I was watching this, and she started blinking after she had the operation, but before she could talk. Now, I may be completely anal about Deep Space Nine, but even I am not going to go back and watch the previous episode with them and see if she blinks. But I get a feeling she didn't blink previously.
That's a stupid question.
Yeah, we'll leave that as an activity for our readers.
I don't really think it's stupid. I just wanted to reference the episode.
It's fairly stupid. Well, even though you're referencing that, it's a very good way to divert the conversation. It works surprisingly well.
I'll have to keep that in my toolkit.
You have to say it with authority, though.
Yeah, he was good. I truly believed he thought the question was stupid.
Poor Patrick. Here's another question. Do you have a quote from this episode that you would like to share with us?
If I had to find someone to replace Atlas and hold up the world, it'd be Miles. He'd do it with a smile, too. Solid choice.
O'Brien is the salt of the earth. I don't think he'd smile about it, though. Well,
yeah, that's the only part that threw me.
When does he ever smile? He only smiles when he's about to do something very clever. That's the only time he's happy. Or, well, when he's with his kids, so Keiko. But in the line of work, the only time he's actually happy is when everything's about to explode. Half the people are unconscious or dead if they're unnamed. All hope is lost, and then he's just got this little gleam in his eye. He's like, ah. But they don't know what happens when I connect this wire to that wire, do they? Suddenly, everything changes. But for reliability, yeah, he is astonishingly reliable.
It's odd that she tacked on that smile line. Because, yes, he would hold up the world and he'd do it really well and better than anyone else. But I don't see him smiling. I'd see him thinking, well, this is my lot in life.
If O'Brien was a movie, the tagline would be, "That's my lot in life." I'm just glad that for the quote you didn't pick do re mi fa sol la ti
Why not?
do fa mi re do re mi.
They had so much fun singing, and the show usually doesn't take those kind of tangents or allow the space and time for a moment like that.
There's been a few musical interludes in this show since the introduction of Vic Fontaine, and this one, and a couple other visits to Vic's, and they're really good. There's not one of them where I've said, I wish they hadn't put so much just sitting and listening to music in, because
Yeah,
they
I agree.
really make the mood. It builds up the atmosphere like crazy. And the music, the singing, the a cappella singing is the best thing they could have put in there for someone being uplifted, not just emotionally, but actually physically coming out of her shell. What with music being the sort of a food of the soul, I don't know. Maybe you understand what I mean. Maybe I don't.
I'm going to say yes. Yes.
Okay. Thanks for saying yes. Do you want to watch the next episode?
I do.
You may now kiss the bride.
Thank you.
Oh no, wait, wrong script. Yes, let's watch the next episode.
All right.
So, did Serena blink in the previous episode? Pause it now if you don't want to know the answer. Yes. She blinked a lot.